Today on the Hobby Bench, I'll be looking at toy terrain for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So I was trying to find some vehicles that I could use for terrain to sort of expand my collection a little bit. And I wanted something that might fit in a bit more with a construction site. So I was at a store and I saw a group of toy trucks that looked like they fit really well for Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain. And so I'm just sort of showing off a couple that I have here. Now, this came as a set of toys from Battat. It's their driven micro series trucks, and this is about $22 US. I bought it over in Target, and they have different sets. This one set that I have, has a crane, a dump truck, and it looks like a front end loader with a backhoe, and looked perfect for something that would go on a construction site. And I have a couple pictures here just to sort of show a general scale of the models with some of the other Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain, including Iron Man, just to give you a feel for the size. And I was surprised. They just look great. Great scale to fit with these, and just a steal. So I've got the truck here I was looking at and trying to work with that. And I'll give you a bit more perspective. Again, maybe with Iron Man as scale. It matches up really good. Now, to keep it from rolling around, I used some super glue that I would put onto it. And this helped lock the wheels in place. And these toy trucks, they have a lot of moving parts. So I used super glue to keep those from moving, including sealing up the doors and keeping the rear part, the sections from raising or lowering. And this is just to help keep it secured in place so it's just not rolling all over the tabletop if I accidentally hit it. And some parts, example, like for this crane, the crane cable, help keep it secured, I used super glue. And that would just keep those parts from moving around, including the wheels and stuff. Now, it's a really smooth texture for working on this and having with paint. So what I ended up putting down was a matte varnish. And to keep it from hazing, I put some Scotch tape over the windows. And so I just gave it a quick coat of matte varnish, and that was to sort of rough up the texture a little bit, so it helped the paint adhere to it a little bit more. And so I gave it an initial coat of Ratling Grime contrast paint. So I have that initial coat of Ratling Grime put down, and it gives it a really gunky, dirty look and covers pretty well. There's going to be a couple spots, so maybe this bit more of some surfactant that's on it that didn't really get caught up with the matte varnish. And you'll have some slick spots that sort of open up. But I'm not really worried about that because I'm going to go back and really dry brush it. And initially, I'm going to be using bright orange as a dry brush to go over the cab of the truck. And I'm just working that in here pretty well on the edges and stuff. And now for the flat surfaces, this is a little bit harder to get a good dry brush. So I ended up sort of stifling a bit. And this is just to add some more texture to it. And if you have some spots that necessarily the contrast paint didn't really cover very well, or maybe spread out, it was a little thin, this is a way to sort of cover it up. Now, always, like I said, with dry brushing, you just want to work off most of the stuff off your bristles and put it on a paper towel. And so I'm just working through pretty well, just trying to give a good coverage over all of it. And here you can see the final result for that. I really roughed up that texture some on the cab and sort of blend in that to cover up, some of the sections that I have of the contrast paint. So now I'm just going to be using a generic gray paint go over the rear part of the dump truck. And here I'll just be giving it a good dry brush. And just the idea is to sort of blend that in a little bit. There'll be some sections that are a little bit uneven with the contrast paint. And this is sort of soften that up a little bit and bring out a little bit more details and highlights. And with the gray dry brushing done, you can see it really blended in that contrast paint, softened up the colors a little bit, eased up the transitions. Some of those blank spots I filled in, and the terrain's done. It's not going to win any awards. You just want to have it painted up a little bit so it looks a little bit less like a toy. But as a toy to buy for terrain, these are a great buy. It's about $7. I really dig them. Love the kits. Love the toys. They can paint up pretty well. And I think it's great because it sort of breaks up what you normally see as terrain for your Marvel Crisis Protocol table. Definitely worth checking out.